we're going to talk about how to tune the guitar. So I would feel that this is probably the most beginner that you can get. So if you've ever played the guitar, or you've played for a little bit, you know that tuning it can be quite frustrating, and I understand that. It is very frustrating. The more strings we have, the more frustrating it gets. We're going to talk about a couple of ways that we can tune the guitar. There are a few simple ones, and there are a few advanced ones, and we're going to go through all of them. So the first being a tuner. So there are these little machines that tune our instruments, and we use them all the time in the music world, and they come in many forms. So we have some that pick up sound and show you how in tune you are, and there are others that play sounds and you match them, and some you can clip on your little tuning pegs here, so whichever one suits you, you should get. So I'm going to show you how to use a tuner in the first part. Now the second part is we're going to talk about how to use the Unison on the guitar to tune. And the unison basically means the same note, and we're going to match same notes and on two different strings, and we're going to see if they're in tune. And then the last one are a few ways that you can tune if you're a little bit more advanced. You can get a more close and perfect tuning for the guitar. It needs to be said, the guitar is, because of the way it's set up, it has frets, it has strings, it will always be somewhat out of tune, and this is very normal. And especially if you have a lower grade guitar, it's very possible that it could have some intonation problems, and do your best to be as in tune as possible. The higher you go, this is where you tend to find the more out of tune parts of the guitar. It's just, there's no such thing as a 100% in tune guitar. But this is no excuse. We're going to tune as close as we can, and we'll see where we can go from there. Before I go into the tuner, let's talk about the open strings of the guitar. So we have, starting from the bottom, which is here, you can tell the bottom string because it's the thickest string and it's the one on the top. So we have E, A, D, G, B, and E. So we count them going the other way. So the first string is E, the second one is B, the third one is G, the fourth one is D, the fifth one is A, and the sixth one is E. And that is how you will see it written in the music score and any music score. So these are our open strings. We tune our guitar to these strings. There's always different tunings, but this is the most common one on 99.9% of guitars. So we're going to use a tuner to see if we're in tune. So how a tuner works is that when we have a little line, and it's going to show us when we're in tune. So we want to try to get in between that line. Sometimes it's just an array of lines, and we just want it to get it to go straight up and down. That is also on a more professional tuner. This is one on an app, on a phone. I don't recommend it. It's not great. I don't use it because I have my own way of tuning, but this is the one I wanted to show you because it's a great example of a tuner. So if you see, it'll show you the notes going across. It'll identify the note that you're closest to. So that's the great thing. If you're looking for an E, it's showing that I was playing an E, and it was in tune. So the green is the in tune, and the diamond in the middle is exactly on 440. So 440 is our tuning number. If you see a tuner and it says 440 or a number in the 400s, you want to make sure that it's at 440. In America, we tune at 440. In other countries, they can tune, maybe Europe, I think, tunes at 442 or above. That's totally normal. If you like 442, that's fine as well. So my E is in tune. My A is in tune. You want to get as close as possible. So D, G, and E. All right? So the top string and the bottom string are the same. All right? So you can always guarantee that you're going to be you're doing something right if this is an E and this is an E. So not only does the tuner help us get in tune, it also tells us what note we are playing. So that's really great. So if you're looking for an E, this one will find an E for you. If I was out of tune, so how to use a tuner. So here, I'll show you, I'll lower my guitar for you. So my E, let's say I was flat, which means I'm below what I need to be. My line is going to be to the left. Or if you have a regular tuner, it's gonna go to the left side. The line is gonna go left. So now I'm flat. That means I have to turn my guitar tuning peg away from me. And now I'm in tune. Yeah. So tuning it away from me is going to bring the string up. Now, if I'm too sharp, my line is going to go to the right, and the tuning peg must be turned towards me to lower the sound. That means we need to go back down. And that's as easy as it gets. That's really it. So a tuner is great. There are some that connect to your pegs that you can get, and some that are handheld. You have obviously the phone one, which is not my favorite. They're very sensitive. I don't like them. And sometimes they will play a note at you and you just match the note. I don't have that one with me right now, but this one you can also get, whichever one suits you. Now let's go to the second method. So the second method is what I call the unison method, or the 5th fret method. So if I count up to the 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this note is the same note as the string above. So they should sound exactly the same if I play them together. So now if I play them separate, these notes are a unison. And then if I go to the next fret on the string up, it's the same thing. And then again. Now the only exception is string 3, where you're going to go to fret 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the one exception. And then back to fret 5. So you should be able to put your finger on the 5th fret and then play the string above, and they should be the same exact note. And they should sound the same. So this is what we call the unison method, or the 5th fret method. This is a really good way to start learning how to match pitch. So I recommend this for beginners who are getting better at tuning. A more advanced way to tune the guitar would be to use the octave method, and this is a little bit more advanced, but I do recommend it if you are trying to get a more close tuning. Because we can sound like we're in tune, but we're not exactly in tune. The ear can't pick up everything sometimes. So the octave method is great. So what I do is I play my 4th string D with my D on the B string, so that you can hear the octaves between the strings. So even with my fingers pressed down, not just open strings, I have my fingers pressed down, and those are going to be in tune as well. And then A with the A on the G string, E with the E on the D string, and then B on the A string with the open B. And then of course you have your open E's, so the low and the high E together. And that'll really help you tune very close together. You can do that octave method. I also use the fifths method, which is very common in the violin world. So you have like that, a fifth. Just like that, and that's going to be your 5th method. That's also a really nice way to tune. So if you're in a hurry. But octaves and fifths are great ways to tune. So the last thing I would also recommend is that if you're using the unison method, try to learn how to match pitch. You can practice this by singing, so you can say E, A, try to match your voice, D. I'm not great at it, I'm not a singer, but you can do your best just as long as you get to the pitch. It's going to help your ear training. And the unison will also help this. Those are the 3 ways. We have the unison, we have the tuner, and then we have the octaves or the fifths. Whichever one suits you is kind of the best. Everyone tunes differently, and a lot of people tune with tuners, which is totally fine too. You're not any better or worse than anyone else if you're still using a tuner. A lot of people still use them later in professional lives. It's just a really great and secure way to make you, tune your guitar. It makes you feel secure, and it can ease some anxiety if you're worried about that. But again, the guitar is never really fully in tune, and it goes out of tune so quickly. Just a drop of humidity will make the whole thing go out of tune. So don't feel bad. It's okay. It's all a learning experience, and you will get better. Just practice. So yeah, that's how you tune a guitar.